Early voting is underway, and for residents who live in the Osseo School District, it's an opportunity to decide whether to fund a series of building improvements. Delane Cleveland has the story.
On November 7th, we are asking our Osseo area school community members to reinvest in our schools.
Another year, another ballot question in Osseo area schools. This time, the ask is to help fund building improvements.
And we have critical needs in our buildings currently that needs additional help in order for us to be able to give our schools and students the learning environments that they need.
The district calls it Building a Better Future. And here at Osseo Senior High, Superintendent Kim Heinen says one of the goals would be to redo the main entrance.
As you see, they're able to come into the vestibule. We do have where they are able to be buzzed in, but as they come in, they're actually in the lobby of the school before they go into the office over here.
If the bond passes, the main office would be the first stop for visitors. Meanwhile, one of the other major upgrades would come to the school's media center, which district officials call outdated.
So we just need to upgrade of how our students learn, because our students are quite different from how our students were 20 years ago. The needs are different.
Essentially, every school in the district would receive some sort of building improvement if voters approve the ballot measure. However, approving the measure would mean that a homeowner in a median-priced home of $300,000 would pay an additional $7 per month in property taxes.
That impacts a family, but our goal is for our community to see they're reinvesting in our school systems. Our school systems help to develop better property and more people coming in and home value. So we see it as a reciprocal of being able to benefit each other.
The district has community informational meetings scheduled in the coming weeks, where they can educate voters on some of those potential benefits.
So we just want to make sure our taxpayers are informed of what we're asking and what the need is.
The upcoming informational sessions are October 3rd at Osseo Senior High and October 11th at Maple Grove Senior High. Both of those events are at 6 p.m. Meanwhile, in the Robbinsdale School District, the school board has agreed to part ways with its superintendent. The board approved a separation agreement with Superintendent David Engstrom, who led the district for the past 2 years. Engstrom was on medical leave for the past several weeks. The chair of the school board, Helen Bassett, called the move, quote, mutually agreeable decision. Assistant Superintendent Marty Voigt has taken over as interim superintendent. A century-old Robbinsdale hotel will soon get a new life to fill a significant community need. The Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans is remodeling the Robin Hotel into living space for homeless veterans. City Council approved the project this past week. The nonprofit says the inside needs serious renovations.
Some of our individual veterans do actually enjoy the group living, and they can make that their permanent choice. It doesn't have to be transitional. We like to meet the veterans where they're at and not refer to any one house, one building, one room as this is transitional housing.
The Robin Hotel, located at the corner of 41st and Hubbard, was built in 1900. Health officials call a hospital expansion in Brooklyn Park the largest expansion of pediatric mental health beds in Minnesota in decades. PrairieCare unveiled this week a new wing of its psychiatric hospital for children. The expansion fills a significant need. The 30 new beds are expected to be full in a month.
People need us more than ever, so us creating capacity now is the perfect timing, and we're advancing evidence-based practices.
From our perspective as a city in Brooklyn Park, it's a privilege for us to be able to have this facility here to serve youth.
According to PrairieCare, nearly a third of Minnesota students suffer from some mental health issue. For Thrifty Shoppers, unwanted items can turn into big bucks. Emily Haugen takes us to the bins at a Brooklyn Park Goodwill outlet where thrifters line up for valuable finds.
At 6 a.m., we will have customers lined up, waiting to be first in line to get into the stores.
In the early hours in Brooklyn Park, it's a mad dash for the bins.
This whole floor has 72 bins.
It's almost like treasure hunting.
They wait until every bin is out and then they tell you can go. And it's just like everybody's digging.
The bins, also known as the Goodwill outlet, have become a place for thrifters to play.
Yeah, well, it's always like a rush once you find something that you really like. You're like, oh, I need to keep going.
Treasures priced by the pound. Megan and Lily have perfected the hunt.
It's always a rush when you find something and then you end up paying like 20 cents for it.
They shop for their closets. Others hunt for a profit.
You just dig, and it's amazing what you find. Yesterday I found a full-length cashmere men's overcoat.
Catherine Haugrud is one of the Minnesota thrifters making a living secondhand.
I list so many items every day. I ship so many items every day, whatever needs to be shipped.
She was a teacher until the pandemic.
I niched down to what I knew the most and could sell the best.
She's built her online business over the past 3 years.
If you learn it and you do it right and you follow the rules, then yes, you can make a living.
Catherine isn't the only reseller. General Manager Ken Abondo says the bins see plenty of regulars.
Some of those customers stay the whole day just shopping. It's a full-time job for them.
Abondo says thrifters and resellers help Goodwill in a big way.
In a year, we save about 65 million pounds that needs to go in a landfill because we are picking through, making sure that we can salvage as much as we can.
It gives a new life to treasures left behind. In Brooklyn Park, Emily Haugen, CCX News.
Goodwill officials say to be thrifty, it also makes a difference for their store employees. They say the profits help connect people to jobs in the area. Finally, this segment, some of Maple Grove's finest moments. It's the city's annual photography contest. And we leave you now with a look at some of the winning photos.
After a season-opening loss, the Champlin Park football team has put together a winning streak. On this week's CCX Sports Spotlight, Jay Wilcox profiles two of the Rebels' defensive standouts.
They're creating plenty of headaches for opposing offenses. The senior inside linebacker duo of Jalen Graham and Matthew Heinen of Champlin Park is a special pairing.
We call it thunder and lightning. You know, Matthew's big. You know, me, I'm fast, I'm shifty. Get through linemen real quick. You know, that's the kind of type of duo we are.
He's great at just slipping through blocks. He's really, agile, where I'm more of kind of bigger. I'd say I hit the guys on. He can sneak through stuff and make plays that I feel like myself I can't even make. So it's great to have him as a teammate and as another leader on the team, and I'm happy to have him, right? Our linebackers are looking really great this year, so.
Minnesota Duluth recruit Heinen is a 3-year starter and vocal leader for the Rebels. Through 3 games, he had 9 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles.
Well, Matthew's not only a good football player, he does really well in school. He's got a 4.0 GPA. He's in the choir. He's a very well-rounded guy. It just happens that he's also a really good football player. Matthew's going to be successful in anything that he chooses, but he's really concentrating on football this year, and he's doing a great job.
Graham had a team-high 28 tackles with 3 tackles for loss and 4 pass breakups through 3 games. He played his way into the lineup early last fall as a junior.
Funny story about Jalen. Last year, the offensive coaches said, who is that number 50? Who is that number 50? He kept showing up on scout defense. So after the first game of the year, we brought him over, and he started ever since. But he is really unassuming, quiet, but he makes a ton of plays.
Graham is listed at 5'10" and 200 pounds, a little undersized, but colleges still could be getting a great prospect.
Some colleges look just straight up on, height and weight, but if they look at his productivity, they're going to see that it's very high.
There's not really much you can do with size, so, you just got to get stronger, faster, and just do things that people don't really expect you to do, being not that tall.
Heinen, Graham, and the Rebels defense pitched a shutout last week against Osseo in a 21-0 win that was extra special for Heinen because of family ties. His dad was an Osseo star in the late 80s.
Great win, I'm glad we, kept him to 0 points. That was kind of a goal for us throughout the season. And it was funny, actually my grandma was super happy. I scored a touchdown on the field my dad used to play on and would score touchdowns on, so it was a super kind of impactful moment for my family. And
Heinen also got to see some time on offense in that win, a fun change of pace.
It was super fun. I mean, we've been repping that package for a little while. It's called our Hippo package, and it's super fun to play in. I love, playing running back a little bit, a little fullback, so it's just great. I'm not used to playing offense, so it was fun to get a touchdown that last game as well. So.
Before beating Osseo, the Rebels had a memorable comeback win over defending state 6A champion Maple Grove.
For me personally, when I played that Maple Grove game, we kind of got blown out, right? So this year, payback for our varsity last year. You know, it was a nice win home. You know, and Maple Grove hasn't really lost in like 2 years, so it was just a big win, big crowd out here.
The past 2 years I played on varsity, we've gotten blown out by them by like 40 plus every single year. So coming back into this game, I had a feeling our team was going to come into it. We seemed pretty prepared throughout the week, and it came through. And being down 17-0, at a certain point in the game, and then coming back from that was just a great feeling altogether.
After a 4-5 season last fall, Champlin Park has high hopes of creating a memorable 2023 season and making a playoff run. And you can bet Matthew Heinen and Jalen Graham will be in the thick of the action. For the CCX Sports Spotlight, I'm Jay Wilcox.
After having just one home game in the first half of the season, the Rebels have 3 of their last 4 regular season games at home. They host St. Michael Albertville next Friday, the 29th. That's all for sports. I'm John Jacobson.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.